Hello students. In the last chapter, we learnt about the Union Legislature, which included the structure and functioning of the Parliament. In this chapter, we are going to study about the Union Executive. The Legislature, Executive, and the Judiciary are the three organs of the state, and they work for the welfare of the people. When we talk about the Union Executive, it is important for us to understand who are included in the executive. India's Union Executive comprises of the President, Prime Minister, and the Council of Ministers. According to the provisions in the Constitution of India, the President is the supreme head of the state. The office of the President has the highest honor and prestige, and it represents the Republic of India. All executive powers of the state are vested in the President. However, in reality, the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers run the government. Therefore, the President is the nominal and the constitutional head, whereas the Prime Minister is the executive head. Now we will look at the eligibility criteria for President's office. First of all, he should be a citizen of India above 35 years of age. He should be qualified to become a member of the Lok Sabha. But he shall not be a member of either house of the Parliament, nor he shall be a member of the House of Legislature of any state. In case he is a member of either house of the Parliament or a house of the legislature of any state, then he shall be deemed to have vacated a seat in that house on the date he assumes the office. He cannot hold any other office of profit. Now let us look at the election of the President. The President is indirectly elected by the people of India. The common people do not vote in the election of the President. He is elected by directly elected representatives of the central and the state legislatures. The group of these members of Parliament and members of the state legislatures is known as the Electoral College. President is entrusted with the responsibility of protecting the Constitution. But if any act of the President violates the Constitution, then the Parliament has the authority to remove the President. This process is known as the process of impeachment. Any one house can lay the charge of violation of the Constitution, and the investigation of the charge is carried out by the other house. The resolution has to be passed by a special, that is 2/3 majority of both the houses of the Parliament. The Constitution has entrusted several powers and functions to the President. Let us look at the few powers and functions of the President. First, the legislative powers. He can summon or prorogue the houses of the Parliament and dissolve Lok Sabha. Here, the meaning of prorogue means discontinue a session of a Parliament. He also has the power to nominate 12 members to Rajya Sabha and 2 members of Anglo-Indian community to Lok Sabha. Certain bills require prior approval of the President, such as the money bill, financial bill, and other bills related to tax. Apart from this, he also lays the report of Auditor General, Finance Commission, and other important offices. President has the power to either give assent or withhold his assent to a bill. Without a President's assent, a bill cannot become an act. His financial powers include money bills, which can be introduced in the Parliament only with his prior recommendation. He causes to be laid before the Parliament the annual financial statement. No demand for a grant can be made except on his recommendation. He can make advances out of the Contingency Fund of India to meet any unforeseen expenditure. He constitutes a Finance Commission after every 5 years to recommend the distribution of revenues between the center and the states. He also has the power to appoint certain important officials. He appoints the Attorney General of India, Chief Election Commissioner, and also the Prime Minister and other ministers on the recommendation of the Prime Minister. He also has the authority to appoint the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court as well as the governor of the states. The president has some judicial powers too. For instance, the president has the power to reduce the punishment, grant a respite, or commute a sentence of a person, or, in special circumstances, grant pardons and reprieves on humanitarian grounds. Military powers. The President is the supreme commander of the Indian Armed Forces. The President can declare war or conclude peace on the advice of the Union Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. All important treaties and contracts are made in the President's name. However, the President cannot do so himself. Under the Constitution, he is required to do so under the control and authority of the Parliament. He has got some powers regarding foreign affairs. President is the first citizen of India and all the diplomatic businesses is conducted in his name. He appoints ambassadors and other diplomatic agents of India. All international treaties and agreements are also conducted in his name, but they are to be ratified by the Parliament later on. Here, ratified means officially accepted by voting or signing it. His emergency powers include proclamation of three types of emergencies. First is the national emergency under Article 352, state emergency under Article 356, and financial emergency under Article 360. During national emergency, the President has certain powers. He can give directions to any state with regard to the manner in which its executive power is to be exercised. He can also modify the pattern of distribution of financial resources between the Union and the states. National emergency is caused by war, external aggression, or armed rebellion in the whole of India or a part of its territory. President can declare national emergency only on a written request by the cabinet ministers headed by the Prime Minister, and the proclamation must be approved by the Parliament within 1 month. Do you know, students, such an emergency has been invoked at 3 instances. In 1962 during the Indochina War, in 1971 during Indo-Pakistan War, and in 1975 to 1977 declared by Indira Gandhi on account of internal disturbance. National emergency can be imposed for 6 months. It can be extended by 6 months by repeated parliamentary approval up to a maximum of 3 years. During the national emergency, fundamental rights of Indian citizens can be suspended, but the right to life and personal liberty cannot be suspended. Judicial immunity to the President means that no criminal proceedings can be initiated against the President during the term in office. The President is not answerable for the exercise of his or her duties. In the absence of the President, his functions are carried out by the Vice President. The Vice President is elected by the members of both the houses. Thank you, students.